All right, hello everyone, welcome back to Crypto Warehouse. My name is Brogan, and today we are back for another simple signal stream. Today's gonna be an interesting one. We do have a lot of price action to go over. Bitcoin's been going pretty crazy, as has been the market. Very excited. We have got above the equilibrium. So obviously, if you were here last stream and the stream before, we were talking about how came below equilibrium and we were pretty stuck. So obviously broken above that right now. So hopefully we can hold that. We will see the validity of that and so on and so forth as we get onto that. So if you're on Binance, to warn as well, the chat sucks over there. So we've actually turned it off for the stream. So if you do want to come talk to us, say anything, do go over to YouTube. Go to Google, Crypto Warehouse. First thing there should be your YouTube channel. Go to there, come chat, say hello. Also, if you're in the chat and you're new, obviously scroll down, like the stream, follow this, that, the other. There are useful links in the description, Twitter and Telegram mainly. Do go join there if you do want to talk to us and join the community. Put some coins in the chat as well. I normally spend way too much time on Bitcoin, so I might not get through them. But obviously, if you guys suggest anything, I may go over it at the end of the stream. So other than that, I think we should just get straight into it. I don't want to dilly dally or anything like that. Okay, I don't want to hogwash myself into some yapathon for 10 minutes. So let's just get straight into it. Let's look at some percentages and see what the market's doing right now. So actually, a pretty tame one. You can see. We've actually been sitting pretty neutral for Bitcoin and majority of the market. Obviously, Ethereum is a bit of a standalone one right here, and obviously Solana, but Bitcoin is the main one. Obviously, I've said this in a couple of streams, previously. The divergence of price action has been slightly new with current market conditions. Obviously, with Bitcoin and whatnot, you can see there's especially with Solana, as always with Solana, but with Bitcoin mainly, there's been a bit of a difference in the price action, the way the market's been moving in terms of actual price action, because we're at a different scenario with Bitcoin. We're actually at the equilibrium for Bitcoin, unlike Ethereum and Solana. So we've got a bit of difference percentages on the different coins. But for Bitcoin, it's a bit neutral right now. 1.2% on the 1 hour, which is pretty crazy. Especially on the the fact that we've only done that in 2 minutes, which is pretty crazy. Obviously, we've had a huge candle downwards. So right now for Bitcoin coming to equilibrium, which I will get onto in a minute. 0.39% up in the 24-hour, which is pretty neutral. It's kind of just sitting there. It's not really doing too much. Not bad. Obviously not a bad thing. But obviously it's not great. And the worst part is also 0.5% on the 7-day, which is basically saying we haven't done anything. For 7 days we haven't done anything, which is obviously fine because neutral. We've hardly moved. We were above equilibrium, then we came down, and now we're starting to try and go above it. So not too much of a surprise there. We're in a bit of a sticky one with Bitcoin. But obviously with Ethereum and Solana, like I said, the 7-day down 6%, down 6% as well, pretty much for Solana. So a bit of a different one. But we have gone over TA previously on different streams, and we kind of saw there was a bit of resistance, especially on Ethereum. As I showed last stream, there was we're actually in the lower range than we were supposed to be, or not supposed to be, but as per Bitcoin and Solana, we had situations where we were actually below equilibrium, and we were actually just about in the new range, or sitting comfortably in the current range we're in. With Ethereum, we actually broke below into the previous range, and we were finding difficulty at the top of it. So to see us at 2,430 is no surprise, because remember, what did I say on I think it was Friday, I did my last stream. What did I say on Friday? I reckon we'll come up to 2,400, 2,430 area, and obviously have resistance there. Also, I know I said I was going to do some TA and send it into Telegram, but the price action was pretty trash. We didn't really do much. We kind of hovered, and it wasn't as much excitement as I thought it was going to be with Ethereum. I thought we were actually going to move properly, so I didn't really say anything. But there actually, what I will do, I'll cover Sui again. I don't know if I've drawn the ranges. I will draw them live because I know Kishan asked for some Sui. Yeah, I think I did some though, didn't I? So I might just go over it again, see what I've already said. But other than that, yeah, I mean, Solana, $146. I can't remember exactly what I said last stream in terms of what our price action should be, but I think we're not too dissimilar from where we were previous stream. And again, the 7-day might be down 5, 6%, whatever it is. But you can see on the 24-hour actually 0%. We've not changed. So I'm not expecting too much, difference in what I've already said on Friday to now in terms of, price action where we are right now, what we should see in the future. I'm expecting it to be pretty much the same between them. So I think we should just get straight into it. I do spend an absolute, ton of time on Bitcoin especially. And obviously, it is warranted because we're actually doing some pretty crazy stuff. So this is basically all we've done. Let me change this to purple because yellow's absolutely horrible. Let me move that. There we go. So looking from Friday, we're actually down here. Was it Friday? Was it? I think it was Friday, right? My last stream. I think it was. I can't remember. Anyway, this basically this basic area, this circle, is basically what the TA was, or what we've done previously, basically, like before the after the stream. This kind of area coming down bit before the stream. I think I talked about this during the stream, and this is kind of what's happened, afterwards. So kind of this slow, gradual move upwards. So obviously this was a good sign, but I drew two obviously negative, kind of trampolines here, because again, these are to show examples of what is the equilibrium. Well, it is basically the trampoline. If you're above it, well, it's kind of like you kind of invert your understanding of it, as per if you're above it or if you're below it. So obviously if you're above it, you're gonna be using it on the lower side of things, or being supply area. But if you flip it, eventually you're going to be using it as a resistance area. So that's exactly what happened here. You can see we have this previous TA, which we had at the time going, where we had like 4 or 5 bounces, multiple bounces over for Bitcoin on the equilibrium. And then obviously I drew some red ones here just to show, we're bouncing in the equilibrium area and we're having difficulty. But remember what I said Friday as well. Obviously KB was very bullish as well. Actually, you know what I should do? I'll read the chat. See who said hello. I'm not expecting there to be too much on Binance, because obviously we've turned it all off, because it is the way. It's like horrible place. It's spammers constantly. Kishan, the absolute goat. Kishan, man, you know already, man. I say it every stream, but you're the goat. Danny's here as well. Shout out to you, man. And KB, you're here as well. Hello to you. Glad you could join. Let me move that back there. Carry on. Okay, so yeah, so we were about here Friday again. Like I said, we were looking at Bitcoin. Obviously very bullish. If you remember what I said on the stream, I said I'm not expecting us to stay below equilibrium for too long. I'm expecting 1, 2, or 3 bounces, something like that, and then a move back upwards above equilibrium to use it as support then. And lo and behold, what have we exactly done? We've done just what I said. You can see we had this main bounce here, this secondary bounce, main bounce here as well, and then this kind of like trail off one coming into it. This whole area is kind of a hovering area where we kind of hovered into it and forced a bit, and then we obviously came upwards, finally above, bouncing off the midpoint-ish of the equilibrium, and then obviously we eventually saw ourselves come up. And again, you know these lines are perfect. Okay, don't judge me based on what I say, judge the lines, okay, of what I draw. Okay, you can see how well we respected all these prices, and mainly this order block. Perfect. You can see came to it and just absolutely just completely ignored it, came all the way back down to the top. And again, remember this, the top of the equilibrium, because to remind you guys, if you've not been here and you don't know how these work, the red lines are equilibrium, but these are ranges. They are built on different numbers, and obviously the higher number you go, the bigger the ranges are per price. Again, we've gone over it. You know what I might do actually, since our price hasn't really changed too much, what I normally do is, if we've had crazy price action, I normally do a lot of TA on what we've already done. But if we've got a bit of stale price action, I go over future based TA. So what I might do that after I cover this. But obviously, going back to my point, these red lines are obviously the equilibrium. These are the main areas of interest. You've got the premium, you've got discount, and equilibrium, where you have your numerous different methods of TA which go in these areas. But the equilibrium is a special place where there's a great focus on if you're going to be bouncing off support resistance. It's a great area where you fight, and once you pass this, it is a big moment to pass it. You know what I'm saying? So and to actually say what I'm about to say is, these blue lines going one outwards of the red line is actually the range upwards midpoint, the range upwards equilibrium. So it's not just the red line you look at, it's the secondary one as well. And if you go on the higher time frames, you'll see technically the second blue line outwards will be another equilibrium on the higher time frame, or the higher range. So it kind of cascades upwards, because obviously price is fractal. It goes and goes and goes as you continue up and downwards the time frames and the different dealing ranges. So going back to the actual price action, what do we see? Let's kind of draw it out. So we have our difficulty. We're bouncing off the midpoint of the equilibrium. Really, really good TA here. This is the turning point. Obviously, this is really good news, where we actually start to use the internal range of the equilibrium as a fighting chance. So you can see here, we hit off of it twice as support. So this is a really good sign, showing we're coming into equilibrium, we're trying to surpass it. Obviously, we expected this because, I didn't really expect us to be staying below equilibrium for very too long, because of how, positive we are on the market. And I think this was just a big slip up. But obviously, you can see fighting at this equilibrium, hitting off support here, and eventually flipped it. And this is good. Obviously, you can see using this as resistance, but hitting off this midpoint, and I can't really draw it too well. I'm just going to have to do this, which is a bit janky. But you can see the midpoint of this area. There you go. I'm trying to prove this is the midpoint. You can see the 0.47 to 0.53. This is kind of like the midpoint of the entire thing. We bounce off that area exactly for kind kind of this bounce before we have really, really big candles upwards, trying to come and break above equilibrium, which we eventually did. And the good sign about, the good thing, coming into these candles, which we see right now, is the fact that we came back down twice to this equilibrium to actually find it as support, and obviously solidifying that we're actually using it as support and we're above equilibrium now. So we don't have to look at, this whole area between, 61.7 all the way back down to 59k. We can actually start to look at where we were previously, 53k towards, higher end of 65.6 and so on and so forth. So very good news for Bitcoin. No surprise here though. And again, just the perfection of this price action. You can see how well this was, or how good this price action was by bouncing off this order block 2 times. And you can see how the candle body prints on the second bounce off it on the midpoint. You can see the candle body is actually printing the midpoint, but the first bounce is only the candle wick. So that is a good sign that we're starting to break up. Now, what I can't remember is if this is a breaker block or not. I think it's breaker block. I cannot remember. I think the green one is breaker block, if I remember correctly. So I'm not going to be surprised if we use this as support, which we're obviously doing right now. So I don't know if this is just general order block. So this is going to be general difficulty on both sides of the spectrum. So not only support, but resistance. So we're eventually going to break this. I think we are going to break this. You can see by this kind of pattern going from the candle prints to the candle body prints then. So really good. And you can see where the highest wick was. It was to the highest range here. So pretty good price action. I'm pretty happy with what we've done so far. Pretty happy in the prospects that we should eventually see ourselves go back above all these previous resistance areas which we're now stuck at now, coming back towards 66k where we saw previously. But again, going back to the TA, it was just this order block just stumped us completely. But what I'm going to do actually, now that I've gone over what we've already done, I will go over what we will do. But what I will do first is read the chat because I want to see what people are saying. All right, so what we got going on. I posted a chart in the Telegram on Friday after price made the sweep with FTC targeting the weekly EQ at 64.5. Yeah, you did. I know. I remember you saying once we sweep that, we're going to then eventually see that massive price moving upwards. And that makes sense. Yeah, obviously, if we're having that sweep on the lower end of things, it's going to absolutely flip us into the positive. So yeah, I mean, absolutely. I mean, I'm glad we're in tandem with each other. But yeah, I absolutely think I didn't think we were going to stay below this at all. And I'm glad we didn't. I'm expecting us to completely just come all the way up. In terms of 70k right now, well, obviously, October was our expected month of positivity going into November. So I am expecting us to see positivity coming towards the higher ranges of 70k, all this area. Again, remembering we have equilibrium at 68.4 to 68 or 69.5. But I am expecting a 72 visit again, at least. Obviously, remembering, I will get onto it in a minute, actually, because it does actually lead into what I'm going to talk about in terms of where our high point is going to be once we finally see our the highest, not the highest price, but kind of when we see our Bitcoin actually pump properly and see where we're actually going to get to. So I will talk about it in a second after I finish reading the chat. Tom TV, yeah, hello to you. I miss my take. Glad you can enjoy the stream. Jazz B, what's going on? I'm still believing we are heading much higher. Yeah, absolutely. I don't think we're going to stop anytime soon. Like, I don't think this is going to, we're going to reach 65k what it's going to be, and that's it for Bitcoin. It's over. Going to 10k. Sell right now, otherwise you're going to lose all your money. I'm not saying that. I don't think so at all. I think if someone says that, I think they're wrong. I mean, remember, there's always going to be people who are saying we're going to go down. There's always going to be people who are saying we're going to go up. It's just that thing. It's always going to happen. So it's just if you can eliminate, or whatever the fucking word is, if you can tell between if we're going to go up or we're going to go down. So as long as you can get it right more of the time. And again, I'm not going to the complete conversation of strategies and normal risk management. I'm not going to that because I've gone about it 7 million times on previous streams. So if you don't want to talk about that, Telegram. Scroll down, description, links down there, Telegram, and that's where are the most important. But yeah, I mean, again, I'm going to go over, actually, I'll bring it up while I'm reading the chat because I do want to have it on the screen. Now this, it does get a bit messy, but this should be fine. If I do this, there we go. So this is the old TA. Not the old TA, but this is 3 month, okay? This is a long time frame. But again, this line doesn't bring us towards 2025. I'm not saying it's going to take a year to do. Because again, look at it here, for example, when we surpassed nearly 16k, coming up towards 58.5, it took, these two candles, which is obviously 3 months. It takes 6 months. So I'm not saying this gradient in terms of our bounce coming back upwards is going to take us, coming into, when is it? The 1st of October. It's just a general line to show the direction. So obviously this is going to easily take us towards 90k. And again, remembering what I've been talking about for the entire time, coming into that equilibrium between 84k, 85k, and 90k. So that is the main area I'm focusing on for our next high before we see, again, 150k, whatever. Because I know some people are talking about 104k, and I could definitely see that, remembering this is where the candle bodies go to, not the candle wick. So I could definitely think, or I can definitely see, you know, us go up towards at least, you know, 100k as a wick before we actually, you know, print and come down. But looking at this price action, again, this is kind of a bit in the air because we've only seen 2 of these movements. You can see this moving upwards, bit downwards, and moving upwards again. So I'm not expecting this to be the permanent trend for Bitcoin, but I'm just saying this is what I could see based on if this happens. Let me read this chat actually. Whenever I hear ETH killer coin, I'm surprised there's no Bitcoin killer. Ironic for fun. Got a doubt that I can any coin beat Bitcoin. Love you, Satoshi. Yes. I mean, yeah, there's been many Bitcoin killers in the past, but they all fail. And that's the thing. It's like Bitcoin. What is it at the end of the day? It's like the, you know, obviously you can be describing it as, you know, the virtual gold. It is the perceived value more so. Obviously there are things being built upon it, just how there is you know, commerce and transactions being built, or not being built, but were used with gold. Obviously, you know, in the whole fiat currency, you know, depegging from the gold. Obviously that's a whole different conversation. But in terms of there has been you know, transactions gone on with gold, it is based on the perceived value, which are most things. Again, with, you know, with the dollar and everything right now, it's more so the military power and the confidence in the country more so than anything else. But you know, with gold, it is kind of the whole scheme and the whole general ideology of it is the perceived value. So it's just the fact that Bitcoin's got so big. So I don't think anything can kill Bitcoin. You know, it's gonna be really, you know, hard to do that if it will ever happen. I don't think it'll ever happen if Bitcoin will, you know, get dethroned by some random other coin and become first. I think it's too deep rooted in the kind of the whole ecosystem of crypto as a whole. I don't think it's ever going to be, you know, the first #1 spot for Bitcoin is ever going to be replaced by some random coin, you know, because the confidence which has to be built into, you know, that new coin will take years and years and years. You know, Bitcoin's been around, like, you know, forever. Obviously, if we go on to, you know, the history of it, obviously there's different charts which show different dates, but it's been around for a long, long time, you know. So in terms of building that confidence over the grand scheme of things, it's been here since the start. So it's one of those things where I don't think it's really ever going to be replaced by anything. I don't think it's going to be, you know, dethroned, as you say, because it's just one of those things, you know, it is just deep rooted. But yeah, in terms of, you know, going back to, oh yeah, the Ethereum killers, I think there's more space in that, you know, sphere of things where it's like, oh yeah, the Ethereum killers, the things which actually transact on the blockchain, where, you know, things go on and things get processed. You know, obviously the brain of crypto, you know, as per reference by Ethereum, you know, it's kind of the thing where it's the where things happen, you know, is where Ethereum sits, is where things happen. Obviously Solana is, you know, the next one as well. Well, not the next one, but another one in that sphere, probably the next biggest one. So, you know, there are, I think in terms of, I don't think there's an Ethereum killer. I think, again, similar with Bitcoin, I think Ethereum's always going to be there just because of its history and how deep-rooted it is in many, many projects. But there are going to be other coins which are going to function similar or function in their own ways, which people will say is going to be an Ethereum killer. But with Bitcoin, I think it's its own kettle of fish in its own little area because it's that perceived value. But anyway, I've yapped. Let's move on to this 3 months. So this is obviously, again, really quick. I want to go on to this 90k number right here, 90,345. Very important, very, very important. I think this is, I think that the steps we're going to take with this whole 3 month area. Again, this can also be drawn down into the weekly and the monthly, but it gets a bit messy. So I'm not saying this is going to take 2 years to happen, but it's just a general kind of action. This is basically to orchestrate, in my opinion, the prices we're going to see. I think it's going to be I've already talked about this though, is like, you know, we come to our bottom area, we come to the top of the next one, we kind of dip up a bit, you know, wicking in or printing in, even as you can see right here, obviously coming down to the previous one and then coming up again and then breaking out and then coming up. So I think this is our bounce off this, you know, 3 month base fair value gap coming down to 50k. And remember, you know, the midpoint of this fair value gap was 50,600, not too far off from 49k. You know, obviously, you know, to perceive it on different time frames it will show it's a massive difference, but on the grand scheme of things, it's not that big. So it's a good bounce off the midpoint of the fair value gap. Obviously filled it, and now we've come up again. So I reckon that's our fill. We're going to come up again, you know, see 90k, maybe a bit of resistance, and then maybe come back down. I think just how we had here, where we came up, came to the top one, came down to the previous one, and then broke up. I think we have a very similar scenario where we come up, hit this as resistance, come back down again, and then break up, coming towards 103k, and then find support at 90k. So a very similar process to how we've already had for Bitcoin. I can expect that if we obviously see this 3-month base time frame as a trend, So what I do want to go on to though is these numbers. Okay, is it this one or is it this one? This one's good. Okay, so the 59049, we can actually go on a smaller time frame for this because it's not that bad. Let's go on the weekly. So this is the main number. And again, this, like I just said, with equilibriums and different lines being represented on different dealing ranges and their importance. So you can see, again, we had 531441, which is an arbitrary number. We had that dealing range, which had 90k as a simple line. But on the 59049, which is like 2 ranges downwards, we had 90,345 as an equilibrium. So you can see here between 86k or 86A and 90,000 is the main area. But again, remembering, as always, that the blue lines outwards are just as important. So this whole area up here, which I've talked about previously many times. Obviously, if you're someone who's a long-standing supporter, someone who's watched streams many, many times, you will probably know what my main price was before I did all these sorts of dealing ranges. It was about 80,000, 80,500, whatever it was exactly. But I did another set of TA, which told us 85k. So I think a lot of people have that value, 85k to 90k. I know some people have 103, and I think some people went up as far as 120, stuff like that. Again, I think eventually we're definitely going to see those prices. But in terms of this, pump towards this, I definitely think it will be towards about 90k, this kind of whole equilibrium here. And again, equilibriums, they bounce off different areas. It could be the bottom of it, it could be the top of it, it could be the midpoint of it, which will be about 89k. So I think within this area, we'll definitely see a high. Whether it be a shorter term high or a long term high is to say, is a different scenario. But I think, especially with what TA we've had, especially with this kind of, either you can say it's either a cup and handle or it's just the, is it Wyckoff? I can't remember his name. One of the patterns in terms of the market, it goes like, you have the dip and you have this basically, I can't remember the name, all right? But you have the move up and then it forms this pattern, which is basically like this bull flag, and then it pumps basically. So in theory, this is that chart, and I really can't remember the name of it. But if we follow along with what that says, after this formation, we pump upwards to a high price. And what's, in my opinion, based on what I have drawn, what's the next logical step in terms of our next high? It's going to be 86.8 to 90k. So I'm expecting this area for one of our highs at least. I don't think it's going to be the be-all end-all of Bitcoin, but I definitely think it's going to be a high, especially after we have this pump outside of this bull flag. And you could say it's a cup and handle, whatever you want to use. But just based on my TA, I don't even have to use bull flags to say that I think we're going to pump to this 86k, because we do have the AMD phase. Remembering from the other chart, we have obviously come into the distribution phase, which should see, over the grand scheme of things, coming into November the 2nd, aka over the entirety of October, we should see that pump at the end of the distribution phase or during it. So I basically, based on that chart alone, I would expect a pump in between. I think it was the 27th of September to the 2nd of November. So aka the whole of October. So October, I think I've seen it being called like Pumptober or something. I can't remember the exact name, but I'm expecting this pump at some point. So let's go back to the lower time frames. Actually look at what we're doing now. I'll give some TA on, or I'll give my thoughts on what we see right now in the local sphere of things, like next day or 2 or 3, wherever it's going to be next night. And then we will move on to Ethereum, Solana, and so on and so forth. Let me just shimmy us a lot along. Oops. There we go. Okay, so this is what we have right now. We have this green box, if you remember, or this green rectangle. If you remember what this is, just to remind everyone, I'm going to actually, I should probably label them, but I'm not. I'm going to, for those of you who are new and you're seeing these rectangles and all these things and you have no idea what's going on, you're like, what the hell are you doing? This is so stupid. I have no idea what's going on. I'm so lost. I'm going to leave. Don't leave, okay? Please don't leave. Actually, if you're going to leave, I think you have to scroll down. So while you're down there, like the stream, follow the channel, turn notifications on, okay? And, okay, one last thing I will ask of you guys. Click the description. There are 2 links down there, or there's multiple links, but I think the most important ones, in my opinion, are the Twitter and the Telegram. And if you're on Binance, obviously, go to YouTube, subscribe, that'd be nice, okay? But the Twitter and the Telegram are the most important, okay? If you want to come to talk to me or Mike or anyone in the community, see the charts, this, that, the other, notifications, the whole shebang. The Telegram's where it's at. Twitter, though, is its own own Kettlerfish. Okay, so do go follow both of those if you do want to keep updated on Crypto Warehouse. Okay, so thank you. Anyway, let's have a look. So the grey one is, I believe, I remember correctly, is just a normal order block. But I think it is a breaker block on the higher dealing range. And we have seen it be an order block previously. So I believe, obviously, depending on where you are and what you think about it, it is also a breaker block. So you can see, if we actually look on the higher time frame of things, actually, yeah, it's a breaker block. You can see, formed it, found resistance, flipped it. But again, obviously, the most important part of breaker block... My verbal spaghetti has come out. If you remember... Oh, you've been... Whoa. That water went down the wrong way. If you've been in before, and I've talked about breaker blocks all the time, okay? If you remember, if you don't remember, that's what I'm going to say right now. How do we form a breaker block? What is a breaker block? Well, a breaker block is a failed order block or a flipped order block, whatever you want to say. Basically, you use it resistance, you form an order block, you do your normal thing, and then you flip it, and then you come back to it and use it on the opposite, side of things. So if it's resistance, if it's a negative order block, bearish order block, the way you form the breaker block is you flip above the order block and then you come back down to use it as support, basically, and then there you go, you've got your new support area. But with these ranges, it tells us where these different areas should form. So, for example, within the orange area and the 2 lines outwards is where rejection blocks form, which, if you don't know what rejection block is basically when a candle has a massive wick and then it comes all the way back downwards. This area is going to be a rejection block. So, for example, in this area, just a random example, this candle has a decently large wick. So obviously, if I was none the wiser, I would just draw a rectangle here and go, oh look, we've got a rejection block, we're gonna use it resistance and it'll come all the way back down. No, okay, that's not how that works. But as an example, that is what a rejection block is a massive wick on a candle. But again, going back to it, breaker blocks is a failed order block or a flipped order block. So this is within the breaker block area. So we can see, as per a breaker block, we use it as resistance, and we then flipped it. But then obviously the crucial aspect of a breaker block is you come down pretty much, not straight away, but you can arc a bit, you can do what you want. You have to pretty much come back to it pretty fast. I think it's on the 4 hour, so again, it would take a longer time. On different time frames, it takes different lengths of time, but it has to come back down. So, in the perfect scenario, what would have happened is we came to the order block at 65k, we would have found resistance, we would have come down back towards 64k, found support, and then the breaker block would have formed properly, and then we could have continued onwards. But there's no surprise here that once we came all the way down and we started dumping, we just completely flipped it and then used it as resistance, and then we came down again. So there's no surprise there. I'm not surprised in the slightest because we never came back to test it. That is just the bad sign. And remember what I said. We were up here. I think it was must have been a Monday stream. I think. Was it a Monday stream? Was it a Thursday? I think I said somewhere up here. Okay, somewhere at our peak. Okay, I think it might have been a Saturday stream actually. I really can't remember. Somewhere at this peak, I was saying we probably should come back down to the breaker block to try and test it. Obviously, at that point, it was too late. We dumped, we flipped it, and look where we are now. We dumped all the way to this bottom order block, at the next point downwards, back here. Formed this order block, obviously, flipped it, bang, support. So, really good there. But anyway, coming to where we are right now, you can see we've already used it as resistance, using resistance again. So, I'm expecting very soon a flip of this. If we want to see ourselves go back above, to 65k and whatnot, and start the pump, which I could expect us to do, especially seeing as though, even though, this is the most important part as well, we had a massive dump below equilibrium, and we've already come right back upwards. I'm not saying we've recovered it all the way, we've come right back upwards, which is a very, very good sign for, Bitcoin and the market as a whole. So I'm expecting this to flip, considering how positive we are, continuously. So I could definitely see this being flipped, which would be about 64k at the support point, which we eventually flip it and then continue onwards. So remembering, this is the green area is a breaker block. This is an order block, but is a breaker block on the higher dealing range. So they're both basically breaker blocks. So I'm expecting, obviously, we flipped this order block. We use the resistance here on the lower time frames, especially. We flipped it, support, resistance. We're going to continue out our green area. We're going to flip it, support, and then continue back upwards, coming to this fair value gap, which is, I think, our next step before we kind of come up with. So what I'm expecting on the grand scheme of things is on the 4 hour, remembering. So we have this kind of movement. We come back upwards. Again, whenever I draw, remembering this as well. If you do watch our streams, or watch my streams especially. Whenever I draw with the pen tool, remember, it is not a time-based thing, okay? I'm not drawing to predict the time we pump or the time we dump by the absolute millisecond, okay? It is more so of a directional tool. So, what I'm thinking we happen... What What I'm thinking we do, and what will happen, is we come to this midpoint. We've done our thing already. We've already seen resistance. We've come down to this green area as support. We're doing our thing. We're kind of hovering. I'm expecting a pump above it soon. I'm thinking we're going to see resistance here again, but what I'll say is we will come to here, find support. We're going to eventually have to come to this area of support anyway, so I think we'll come to support of 64k and then continue onwards. And I think the concerning part is the fact that we have a fair value gap in an order block, which is just a whole whammy of things going on. Okay, that's just massive resistance. So what I will say, okay, number one as well, this is perfectly in fair value gap area. Obviously, the dealing ranges tell us that. We've got rejection blocks, you've got order blocks, and you've got fair value gaps. And you can see the candle here is within fair value gap area. So this is going to be a valid fair value gap in theory. Not everything is perfect. Not everything is squeaky clean. Remember, this is all a prediction. None of this is financial advice. Please make sure you're trading based on your own, process, your own method of TA, this, that, and the other, okay? I'm not giving opinion or anything. Oh no, I'm not giving advice, hardcore advice. It's my opinion on what I have in front of me, okay? But what I could expect, okay, is we come towards 65k, towards 65, 120, that rough area between there, maybe that $200 area. We come up to there, we fill the fair value gap. What could happen, though, to be fair, is we could maybe see the top of it. And again, fair value gaps, you have to trade them at the time. It's quite hard to predict them. Normally, you want to say it comes to the midpoint. But you can dip into them at the midpoint. You can dip into them at the very, very top and fill the whole thing. So that could mean a 65.5, which would also see the rejection block of resistance. Bear that in mind. So we've got rejection block, we've got order block, and we've got fair value gap. So we've got massive resistance in this whole area. So we could see, to fill this area at 65.1, we could come towards 65.5 or 64.7. Big range, I know. I do apologize. But to try and stack our odds, I would probably wager in between 65 and 65.150, because that is, number one, the midpoint of this order block. Number two, the midpoint of the fair value gap, which is normally where things happen. But obviously, you do want to bear in mind, we could potentially see difficulty at this area. Also, actually, to be fair, we've also formed another order block in the order block area. So that the top of that order block is actually the midpoint of the fair value gap. So I'm gonna say 65, 120-ish in that area. I reckon we're gonna fill this fair value gap and come down. So let me give my TA before we move on. We're gonna see this movement, coming upwards, bouncing off this area, finding midpoint, fair value gap midpoint, come back down maybe to this area. I don't want to see a head and shoulders. But let me do this again. There we go. Obviously, we're going to find a support again, maybe at the top of this old block. That would make sense. Or the breaker block, sorry. I could expect a higher low, higher high scenario doing this. Coming back up towards here. Once we fill this fair value gap, this whole area is going to be fine. But to be fair, I believe this is just an old block. I don't think it's in any special area. So we're going to have to flip this. We could see resistance at it and come back down again. I don't want to put a lower high in. That would be pretty bad. Also, remember, we do have these highs up here. Oh, no. Where was it again? We have a high somewhere at an area. But also, we've got 68,300 to 69,487 as a resistance area. Massive resistance area, actually. So, we want to be careful of that. So, yeah, I think we're going to eventually see ourselves continue onwards, back up towards, 65.5 as we continue, continue. That's all I'll pretty much say. Hopefully, we can break up. Let me zoom in on this, actually. I want to give this as one final point. I just want to give, again, if people weren't here and were, here for the last stream, whenever it was, when I was talking about this expansion zone, and if you were here and you didn't see me talk about why we didn't hold the expansion zone, which I think was Friday. If you weren't here Friday, I will quickly explain why we didn't actually hold this high area. Pretty much, it's going to take me like a sentence, okay? This line, 66,332, remember, that is the most important line I said. Remember, okay? You can go back in the last two streams, whenever it was, or 3 streams, I can't remember which stream it was. You can go back, it's all recorded. Again, remember, it's all uploaded to YouTube, so if you don't go check out my previous streams, consider subscribing. But, remember what I said? I said 66,332 was the massive line we had to cross, the massive price we had to hold. We had to get above that and bounce on it and basically use it as support and be there, basically. And we didn't do that. So, I said that. I said that when we were down here. I said that as we were in this equilibrium, that we were going to come up to this rejection block area, form rejection block, have a bit of difficulty, break up, and the last thing I said in that whole string of things was we need to get above 66,329 and print above there and use it as support and be there. And if we don't do that, we're not going to hold it. We tried to get above. We failed miserably. We formed an order block. We bounced off it 3 times. We fell. That's all we did. And that is the whole reason why we fell. Obviously, not necessarily because obviously we had, you know, some externalities. But in theory, based on price action alone, that is why we fell. So that's what we need to do. Once we get above 66,332 and we print above it and we use the support, then yeah, you know what? I will hibernate. I will go to sleep, okay? And I will wake up. Someone could wake me up once we get above 66,332 and print above it. Once we do that, then I'll wake up. But I'll go sleep for like 2 weeks, okay? Because I don't care what we do. I'm waiting for that price. Because once we do that, we're then in the new range. So we're not at the top. You know, we're not at the top of this range, you know, in between 59k and 65.6. We are then at the bottom of the new range at 65.6, coming all the way back upwards to 72,174. Remember that. Yeah, see, this is a good example of why, you know, of an example of, oh, yeah, we did print above the equilibrium. We never hold it. Or never held it, I should probably say. For example, we printed above it, but we didn't do like a boing and bounce off it. We came to it, we arced and came down. So that is a bad example. And to be fair, this is quite big TA, you know, so you want to be using a bigger range for that, not 6561. But anyway, I digress. So the next steps after that, again, as I've already talked about, are going to be 68,307 to 69,48 of 487, which is the expansion this week. I'm expecting it, considering what we've done and how fast we've been able to get back above equilibrium and continue onwards. I will not be surprised if we see those prices again. If we can get all the way back upwards towards 66k, 65, whatever. I'm not going to be surprised in the slightest, because it only takes a couple moves to break above 2 or 3 breaker blocks, or no, 2 breaker blocks, and to fill a fair value gap and recover. That's not going to take long at all. So I'm expecting to get back above near our highs quite soon. If we don't, or we dump, you know, and we go back towards 59k, then there you are. It is what it is. Yeah, I don't think we'll do that. I really don't think that's in the books at all. But yeah, that's pretty much it really for Bitcoin. I think we'll do Ethereum now. What we'll actually do is check out the latest updates. I want to see if anything's interesting happening. Okay, we'll look at this. I know I never do articles, but I just feel like it. Okay. Bitcoin super cycle could drive Bitcoin to $400,000, predicts analyst. I want to see this because. All right, so he's saying that each high of these sees us to get to 400k. Okay, you know what? Before I judge, yeah, this is what I was on. This is the company handle, but obviously this is the what? I don't know how to spell it. I'm not gonna lie. Oh, there it is. Accumulate. Is this it? You know what? I don't know where it is. It's a common handle at least. Okay, we had something. I can't remember where it is. But it's one of the Wyckoff patterns. I don't know if we've failed it or whatever. I don't really care. But we had it. But it's also a common handle to bear in mind. So, based on this common handle, which goes from the bottom of the base of the cup all the way to the top, bringing that up from the handle, in theory, it should bring us to this price at 220. You know what? Let me draw it myself. Okay. I want to see what it says. So from the bottom, which is about here, let's say, to the top, which is about there, bringing it to the bottom of said candle. How have they got that? How the hell have they got that price? Validation wave sale. What? Oh, you don't do it from the bottom. Oh, I forgot about that. Okay, maybe that might help. So you kind of have this this flag. What? How the? Exactly. Who's the analyst? This is why I want to look at it. Okay, because you know people say crazy things. Okay, so this line takes it to about 220. I don't even know how he's drawn that. Okay, because I've just drawn what basically he's drawn, and I'm not seeing what he's seeing. Whatever. Who is this? Okay, let me check this. Oh no, don't check that. Take me to the article. Carl Chassis? Maybe? So okay, so basically this guy thinks 400k. I don't know about that. And I don't know, okay, what time frame does he think? Because that's the important question I had, which I haven't answered yet. Yes, this cool. Yes, what I'm talking about. What's his... Is he a YouTuber? Oh, no. Oh, hey, okay, well, yeah. Yeah, I'm technically a YouTuber, yeah. But, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Not all YouTubers are bad. Yeah. I don't know what his time frame is, though. Oh, the current 20-month rise is a strong indicator. What? I just want to know when he thinks this. Oh, whatever. He's probably wrong. Yeah, to be fair, if his cycle malarkey says in the next 5 years or whatever the hell it's going to be, then maybe. Or whatever, the end of this bull run or coming into 2025 when it is. It's a bit high. It's a bit high. The cup and handle was a lot more close to what I already have. Like, if we draw it again, look. If we draw it again to the top of here, this is 120k. What was my line on the 3-month cycle? I think it's 105k. So it's far off. But it's not that far off. But for 400k, jeez, I don't know about 400k right now. I mean, hey, I would love to see 400. You know what? I'd rather be pessimistic and completely wrong, and we see 400k, than too happy about it and we don't see it. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. No disrespect. Don't worry. I didn't take a personally. Don't worry. I know what you mean though. There are some people who are out there who just do the worst things. Like they'll have some crazy ass oscillator, and it just won't work. Yeah, I mean, I'm confident. Yeah, market cap and demand of Bitcoin play a role. Exactly, 100%, 100% agree. We have to have, because it's obviously diminishing returns. It gets marginally worse as time goes on. It gets more and more gets inputted. You need more and more inputted for a new for a price increase. So I don't know what the formula is. I don't know what the exact price is. But basically, you need more and more input for like $1 change for Bitcoin. So it does get worse and worse as time goes. So there is going to be a cap at some point. So to see 400k, especially for where we are right now, I just want to know what the time frame is, because he's got a line. You know what? Let me go back to it one last time. I know I'm yapping on about Bitcoin again, but yeah, it's my stream. I can do what I want. All right, don't judge me. Okay, let me zoom in. All right, so he thinks. Okay, so 2025. So he thinks. You can see the hoverage here. So I think the end of the bull run, this one, I think we said it was about November time 2025. I think it was. So you can see 2025. It's a bit shimmied off. So this is roughly within 2025 November time. So he's basically saying 400k by the end of this bull run. I think that's a bit high, okay? I think that's slightly too high, all right? In my opinion, again, I'm not a financial professional. I think it's a bit high, okay? I don't know about that, all right? The max I will say is if we have a fast... And remember, this is a 3-month cycle. Or my thing, okay? This is my theoretical. It's a 3-month thing. It goes... Obviously, it takes a couple candles to do. But the one upwards is 154. Actually, no, 154. You know, that's not actually that far off. But 154, but that's going to take a while to get to. The next one was 217. And then you get... Okay, and this is the worst part. 217 is the equilibrium. And then the worst part, 250k is the equilibrium, which is going to be pretty difficult. So to get 400k, you have to be up here. I don't know. I don't think I'm going to see that. I don't know, man. I really don't think that's going to happen. Based on my hoogie doogie witchcraft 3-month cycle, 400k is a bit crazy. Okay, that's my opinion. Anyway, I've yapped. Let's go on theorem. I normally spend like a little time on the theorem and whatnot. So let's do this pretty fast. I do actually have some ranges. I think they were drawn wrong or something. But let's see what happened. Okay, so let's have a look. It's on the 30 minutes. Let's go on the 1 hour. Okay, so I think we were Friday time. Oh no, we were here, weren't we? So resistance at this area. I expected that to be flipped. We found resistance at the order block. You can see here. Resistance. Obviously, it's actually more so on the higher end of the order block. But to be fair, actually, let me look. Maybe on the higher time frame. Or actually on the lower time frame. The order blocks expanded a bit actually on the lower time frame. Let me shimmy it then. If we go back onto here, you can see it's okay. There you go. On the 30 minute, you can see the order block with these two candles. Wait, where was it gone? What did I just draw it on? I did on the 81 minute. Okay, whatever. Well, on the higher time frame, it's expanded a bit. So we go back to the 1 hour, and we shimmy along. It bounces pretty nicely off this order block. So you can see rejection block formed, and then the order block as well. And again, remember, once we flipped back down into here, and again, obviously we didn't have the expansion line, even though we did. So we're actually, once we did this bounce, I talked about this at the time, this was a perfect bounce. It was actually to the penny a bounce off of this expansion line, and then we came down to equilibrium and bounced offwards. So currently, based on this price action, we were in this range, and then we formed a order block in the premium. And if you know anything about premium discount equilibrium, the order blocks formed in equilibrium or in premium are supposed to be resistance, and the order blocks formed in support are, or the ones which the resistance-based order blocks or anything in resistance formed in premium are supposed to work better than support. But again, if you had permanent support and resistance in premium discount, the coin would never move. So they're gonna have to be broken out. But this is an order block in the higher end of the range, which is in premium. So it makes sense that we flipped it. Bang, resistance, 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 resistance. And then we flipped it, resistance at the higher order block, flipped back down. But where did we flip down to? We used the order block as support, and then we came upwards. Massive, massive, massive. Really, really good. And then where do we come to? Let's have a little shimmy across. Let's go on the 4 hour. Was it this range which was drawn wrong? Was it this one? Let me shimmy this across a bit. It's 79. Let's do like 400. Why not? 400. There we go. Okay, so where was our bounce? Where we found a difficulty? Well, this is the 729, so it's a bit of a higher range. Where are we right now? We're at equilibrium. See, we flipped it. We found resistance, support, 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 flip, resistance, resistance, resistance. So, like I said with Bitcoin and Ethereum and Solana, they're in different scenarios. So with Bitcoin, we've just flipped the equilibrium, and we're now trying to get back above. Okay, but with Ethereum, we're actually at equilibrium right now, and we're having difficulty. You know, you can see this bounce and this. You know, we're having difficulty already at equilibrium. So I think what we could have maybe is a latent version of what we had for Bitcoin. So how Bitcoin's already bounced 3 or 4 times off equilibrium and then surpassed it, I think Ethereum could have that similar process where we are going to have our bounces and then flip it. So we've had maybe 1 or 2 bounces already. I could see a bit more resistance in between. You can see, going back to the 243, you can see we're having, on the 1 hour, we're doing our thing. We're having difficulty. We're bouncing off all these different ranges. But then if you go onto the higher time frame and then go to the 729 on the higher time frame, all it looks like is you're just sitting, in this range right now. So what I could expect is, obviously, we've had our resistance. We came down. Resistance, I could expect a come down to maybe 2,389. Bit of a retracement, maybe towards the order block, which we've already actually seen, to be fair, with this wick. So I think we're going to see support, definitely. Let me come back down to the low time frame. Actually, yeah, I don't know why I didn't shimmy them over. I'm stupid. There we go. So you can see the rejection block formed is actually being used as support. You can see a really good wick there on this 12 o'clock Monday. You can see really good wick there, or today. And then you can see as well with the order block, it got flipped. Is this in where are we actually? We're actually in breaker block area. So this is always good to remember as well. Obviously, when you do TA, if you were to use these ranges, obviously you do TA on different time frames to get different narratives and try and match up as much best you can for the best guess. You do the same with the ranges. You use 243, you use the 729, for example. You use higher and higher or lower and lower ranges to try and back up what you've already been saying. So on the 243, it might look a bit complicated. On the 1 hour, it's all messy. But obviously, if you go to where we are right now, on the simplistic terms, really basic, on the 4 hour, on this higher zone, where are we? This is mitigation block. This whole area is breaker block. So this is going to be order blocks which get flipped. So same with this. So if I zoom in, and also we are below equilibrium, which means support-based TA practices are going to be higher valued and higher respected in theory rather than resistance-based. So what are we doing? We had a rejection block of resistance. we had this order block of resistance, and we had another order block of resistance. But all these order blocks and resistance areas are all in breaker block area. So what that, in theory, says to us is, yeah, we formed resistance twice, but we're going to flip them both. And lo and behold, what have we done? Goes to 1 hour. Formed resistance, bounce, bounce, flip, support. Obviously, we're coming below it, but I think we're going to come back upwards. But this is really good. This is good. You can see. Again, we're still in breaker block area. What happens? Bounce, 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 flip, support. That is perfect. That is exactly what we need for a breaker block. You flip it and you come back. And then lo and behold, what's happened? We've come exactly to the midpoint of this breaker block. So this is really good. So we just need the same thing for this breaker block, which I think we're going to flip. You can see we resistance, flipped it, came back down, support. So really good there as well. So I don't think we're going to print below this midpoint at 2,444. I think we're going to come towards 2,450, print above. So I'm not too pessimistic. Because again, I remember I just said 243. Oh, I'm not too positive. We're in the equilibrium. But on the 729, it's looking a bit more positive. So I'm thinking this whole area, let's draw a general rectangle over the entire area. Okay? Just so we can get a bit of an easier time for ourselves. You can see, down here it was resistance. We flipped it, and now we're going to use this general area of support. Okay, this is in between multiple blocks, so bear that in mind. So I think we're going to form this. This is going to help us to have, higher highs, high and lows, coming back up into equilibrium. But remember, we have this massive rejection block in equilibrium, which I think is formed. Isn't it formed somewhere or something like that? I can't remember. Why did I draw this? I don't know why I draw this. Oh, I drew this. Whatever. It's probably going to be resistance. So you can see, use it support again, flipped it. So we're probably going to see resistance. Obviously, lo and behold, where are we? We are in equilibrium. So we're probably going to see resistance at 2,550 again. But similar with Bitcoin, I am thinking we're going to be flipping this equilibrium at some point because it just makes sense. We're going to see this flip as per we've already seen Bitcoin do it. I think the market eventually is going to have to flip it anyway because we're going to see these positive numbers. And remember, what have I been talking about for... I'll forget it again. What have we already been talking about for Ethereum? We've already been talking about these bounces. Okay. Yeah, this was an oversight. Do you know why? Do you know why this was bad? Because I didn't have my ranges. But the general idea was we were going to continue onwards and then find support at 2,800 and then continue back upwards towards 2,000 or 3,500. Obviously, lo and behold, where is this order block formed? It is in this range here. So that's why it's being used so well. See? It just works. Yeah, currently we're finding a bit of difficulty. I should probably draw another range of this whole range here. But if you remember, all these ranges are built upon the power of 3. So if I built another 729, I would then be able to build the power of 3 number upwards and then do the whole thing. So I probably should do that, but I'm not going to bother because this is good enough on the 4 hour. So going back down to it, I think we're eventually going to flip this, not too hard, because we've only bounced. Because I mean, even this, like, it wasn't really a bounce. You can see we came back into it and then came down again. It was a really fast movement. This movement here on 2nd of October. So we've only really had a truly one bounce. This main bounce, really exaggerated. So I don't think we're going to see it happen immediately. I don't think we're going to pump above it immediately. I think we're going to have 1 or 2 more bounces above. Into it for Ethereum, but I don't think we're going to be hovering in this area much longer, considering what Bitcoin's doing and the outlook on, or the prediction of what we think Bitcoin's going to do, going back all the way back up towards 66k and onwards. Hopefully, I could expect that general market positivity to be, to allow Ethereum to, and most coins to move upwards. So, bearing that in mind and the position we're in right now, we haven't spent a ton of time below equilibrium. I think we're going to flip this eventually, and continue upwards and see where we are. But what we can wager a guess is where the next equilibrium is going to be. So you can see on the 729, if we did a range upwards, the next equilibrium main would be 3,200 to 3,334. So that is the next area of negativity as well. But again, 729 is good enough, and we have multiple equilibriums. So I think all we need to concern ourselves with right now is breaking above this equilibrium and coming upwards towards these previous areas. But we have order blocks in this order block area. Actually, no, this is a breaker block. You can see, this area is where mitigation and then lo and behold, this is where breaker blocks form. So you can see, you know, formed it, resistance, 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 flipped it, never came back to test it, came down. Resistance, resistance, we've already tested it, so I think we can come back to it and then flip it. So eventually that's what we're going to see for Ethereum. But, you know, we're definitely going to see resistance there because that's how these work. You're going to see resistance and then flip it. So 2,600, 2,700 is going to be big resistance. We've got this rejection block we're probably going to see as resistance within the equilibrium. And then, you know, so on and so forth. But as of right now, if we go back to the 1 hour and really focus what we're doing right now, I think we're going to flip this order block at 2,443, use it as support, and then continue to try and get back above this area we're in right now, you know, get towards 2,500. But bearing in mind, I don't think we're going to see too much progress in it because we've only bounced off it once. We're still in the area. So unless we have some God candle, externality-based thing, or so we have some massive God candle, I don't think we're going to see, you know, 2,600 tomorrow. I think we're going to still be in this area. So let's quickly go over Solana. I will go over Sui in like a minute, just to see what we've already talked about, and then I will end the stream. Also, while I'm getting Solana up, to bear in mind, we have a stream Wednesday, the 9th, which is in 2 days. We are giving away a one key, which is a wallet. Obviously, if you don't know, we've talked about it. This is only to the OGs, so obviously, if you're someone new to the channel and this is your first stream and you're thinking, oh my god, I can win a cold wallet, I'm so excited. It's for the OGs. Apologies, okay? Because, you know, can't just give it away to everybody. It wouldn't be fair. I wouldn't feel good, someone joining stream for the first time, entering, oh yeah, can I enter the giveaway? And all of a sudden they've won, you know, a £90 wallet. So I don't want to do that. But we are going to be doing a review. We are going to be doing a review. Need some more water, man, honestly. I'm tired, man. We're going to be doing a review on it as well. So we're going to be filming that on Wednesday. So we're going to, you know, tell you guys how to, you know, set it up, how to use it and whatnot, and the features. But it's pretty cool. It's pretty snazzy. So we are going to be doing a whole stream on that. Not only is it going to be just the giveaway, we're going to talk about security. We're going to be talking about the benefits of cold wallets, hot wallets, and centralized exchanges, all those things. Yeah, it's going to be a good stream. So do make sure you have it on your calendars. Set your evening free on Wednesday because it's going to be a great stream. We are also currently planning the Halloween streams. So I think it's the 29th and the 30th we're doing. We're going to be dressing up. Okay. And remember, I did ask, actually to be fair, I didn't message it in Telegram, but I did ask for anyone who's in Telegram to give suggestions, you know, to what costume we should get, because we're looking at different costumes, we're looking at what we can do, you know, just like, you know, Michael Myers or whatever, just some random stuff. But if you guys have any suggestions, whoever you are, you know, you have to be an OG to suggest to us. But if you've got any suggestions for costumes or things to wear, 29th and 30th, which is the Halloween streams, then do put it in the chat. Anyway, this is Solana. So, what did we draw? You know, it's like the Lord Explorer. I say it all the time. So, what did I expected? We were going to continue onwards to equilibrium, bounce off of this, I think, a breaker block, and then continue onwards. So, what have we done so far? We've reached equilibrium. We've bounced off of, or bouncing off of support. And my expectation was we're going to get... Oh, no. I didn't draw this, did I? I think I said at the time I wasn't too sure. I want to see if we break above. So far, so good. You know? Not bad. Obviously, technically, it wasn't a straight line upwards. We did come back to bounce off this support before we came upwards. But I'm going to skimmy past that, okay? Because we did what I thought. We were going to come to equilibrium. We then came down to support. And the next step was, in theory, to come back upwards. But I did say at the time, I don't know how well we're going to break above equilibrium. Yeah, so we're doing well right now. Let's go to 4 hour, actually. So this is a 4 hour breaker block. You can see how well we used it previously. You know, formed it, resistance, support, came upwards, support, and obviously fell below because, yeah, the market was pretty negative externally. So again, very similar scenario. Coming upwards to, I don't know, actually, we're probably on a lower time frame we bounced, or on a lower range we bounced in here, but in terms of our bounce here, there's probably something back here, like an order block. Actually, to be fair, this is breaker block area, isn't it? I'm stupid, I should have drawn. I'm a moron. Oh, why did I not draw that? Such a moron. I don't know why I didn't see that. Alright, well, isn't that just... Oh, man, that's really annoying me. I don't know why I didn't see that order block back there on the 4 hour. So that's why we bounced off here. Why did I not see that at the time? Okay, well, now we have it. We've got a breaker block here. bang, resistance, flip, support. There you go. So that's going to be good support as well. Booyah. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, we've got that. Great, cool. Let's go back to the 4 hour though, so we can truly see what's going on. Currently in equilibrium. So if we look at the 4 hour, which I like to look at, it's really, really good to see. Currently finding in equilibrium. So this is a good sign. This is a really good sign for Solana. So it's not like we're at $144 and we are below equilibrium. We're printing multiple times in equilibrium. Remembering multiple times over what's happened previously where we've been trying to fight above equilibrium. We've been printing inside of it the entire time. So I'm pretty confident on Solana, especially seeing as though we have this order block, which sits within the breaker block area and basically equilibrium. You can see the top of it is pretty much precisely on the red line of this equilibrium. So I'm pretty confident in Solana. Obviously, Ethereum's a bit of a different situation. Bitcoin's already flipped its equilibrium. I'm thinking for Solana, I'm thinking sooner than Ethereum, we're going to flip this equilibrium and see some highs above $150. Remembering as well, we've got a breaker block up here, so I think we're definitely going to see resistance at $152 at least. I want to look back though to see if we've got any other. Probably got some breaker blocks or order blocks back here. You know, there's probably some. Probably this right here actually. Yeah, we've got that there, for example. You know, this block, you can see, you know, resistance, flip, support, obviously fell below it then because of market negativity, external from the price. So, oh, well, there it is. Isn't that beautiful? You know what? Isn't that just amazing? Oh. So, yeah, that was a nice bounce off of this order block. So, in theory, what we could see then is once we break above this, since we've already bounced off this as resistance, we could flip it, come to 153, come back to 152, and then flip it and then do this. You know, we could see that hopefully. But as of right now, I'm not going to concern myself with that. I'm more focused on getting above this equilibrium. So obviously we came up to this blue line. If we orchestrate this, you can see came up to the blue line exactly, cooling off a bit now, coming down to this green area. So I'm expecting a 4 hour bounce off of this area, $146, 145 area, $145.50. So we're expecting this retracement either to midpoint or lower, this general area, and then coming back upwards. What we could hope for, I'm definitely thinking, seeing as though we're printing so well inside of equilibrium, that we could flip it and, you know, see a higher high above $150 onwards towards 154, and could expect this downwards movement could allow us to come back upwards to 153. So as I see it, we could see that. I'm hoping for that. Hopefully all things going well, we should see Solana go upwards. So I think to wrap it up, because actually I need to open Sui because I didn't do that. I don't have the ranges, do I? Oh my god. Oh no, I have ranges. Oh. How long ago did I draw this? What did I... Oh, you know what? I've completely forgotten what I said last stream. I've forgotten absolutely everything. Okay, well, we're going to form a rejection block here. I think I said to sell or something. I've really forgotten what I said. Well, actually, depends on what we print here. This is fair value gap area. So what we could see is if we have a candle downwards into here, I could expect a fair value gap here towards $1.92, coming downwards again, resistance here, then having a lower high coming downwards again, maybe doing this downwards. I think Sui is definitely going to come down there. You can see these previous highs up here. Let me get the line tool. Where's the hell's line tool? Let me get this accurate. I don't want to get this wrong. So these were actually previous rejection blocks at this area. You can see we never actually came to. See, if we draw this rejection block, you can see we're having difficulty there right now as we see it. So difficulty there. Forming another rejection block here again. Also not forming a higher high in terms of this line. So you know, we're not having a sweep. Also, you could probably argue, considering how equal, if we weren't to use these ranges, let's actually hide it for now so we can actually see. So to just look at these two highs and not look at anything else, you could argue that there is a cup and handle forming, that we will eventually see a downtrend coming back down towards, you know, $1.60 or whatever it's going to be, and then see a rise in price, you know, coming from these candles, you know, back up towards maybe $3.80. But again, I don't know what the prospects of SUI is. I really don't. So I don't know if this is going to happen. I don't actually know too much data about it, but I'm just drawing it. But as I see it right now, just look at ranges. I'm not going to look at the cup and handle. We have these ranges actually being respected pretty nicely. But yeah, I'll probably have to draw a larger frame. You know what? Let's draw it actually. So what number did I use for this? I actually really don't remember. Was it 0.36? Oh, what the hell? Oh, actually, it's not changed that much. It's actually better in general. I'm glad I noticed that. I don't know why I didn't do it from 0. What is it, 2.91? I've done these ranges wrong. I don't know why. Oh, I know why. Because this is old. This is old. This is really, really old. What we'll do is 2.43 to see. There we go. Here we go. That's it. That's what we need. That's what we needed. Yeah, I drew it wrong ages ago. So this is a different value. So what we could do is it's the higher range one. Hold on, let me just draw it. So hold on, bear with me. That's the wrong thing. Jesus. All right, so hold on, bear with me. We'll draw the new range. So we can have there we go. This is going to be a massive range. Is this actually good? I don't think this is good, actually. I don't like this. This is the only other range, unless we do a smaller one. Which I don't want to do. Actually, this could be, you know, a 3-month thing. Let's go to weekly. Okay, this is trash. I'm not gonna draw that. I was theorizing that could be a good range to draw, but I don't think it's very good. Let's just stick to what we have right now. Go to the daily. Where the equilibrium is being used actually nicely, as you can see. So let's go back to it. These aren't actually rejection blocks anymore then, because we're not actually in the proper range, because the ranges weren't actually properly drawn for the first time. So these are actually in fair value gap area. So this is actually perfect again, even though this isn't, because remember, this is where rejection blocks form, order blocks, fair value gaps. So candles in this area are going to have fair value gaps associated with them if properly. So we actually should bump this up to wherever this lands, to be fair. It could be up here towards $1.96. So this again I think is going to be positive unless we have an inverted value gap. Again, we are on the premium side of things, so we could flip this. Actually, let's bear that in mind. You know, to be fair, you know, this could probably be an inverted fair value gap because we are in premium. So we probably will form this, flip it, bang, resistance, come down, and then, you know, whatnot. Also, this is breaker block area, so there's bound to be a breaker block in this area. Probably towards here with this here. This looks like a breaker block. Assume that across, you can see we flip it there, which is quite nice. So yeah, not bad. Let me just have a look. So yeah, I reckon we could probably flip this. But to be fair, we aren't actually in anywhere difficult per se. So what I will do though is if this has a significant candle, obviously you have 2 candle order blocks and 1 candle. So what I want to do, I want to go back to here and see if we actually have an order block. Which we don't, because these candle wicks go into it. So if we go to the 1 hour, maybe we do. We shimmy backwards. So we'll do this quickly and then I'm going to end the stream. Let me shimmy back really quickly. Okay, we actually do have an order block. Do we? Is it? No, this isn't an order block, is it? This isn't actually good. That's not an order block. It sucks. This is sucker, or is it just me? No, this is good, this is good, this is good. This ain't bad. Alright, well, it's not, you know, it's not like, you know, amazing, but technically it's a order block. I'm gonna write it off. So technically we have resistance there. Obviously we've got the highs there, which we're not currently getting above right now, so hopefully we can. Technically we also actually have this fair value gap here right now at the $2 mark, $2.02. So we have that. So, you know, probably gonna, you know, boing, flip into that bang, come up. So even if we do this high, this is then gonna be a high. What comes after high or low? So even if we do like a $2.20 move, we're gonna come down, and it's gonna be hard because remember this is on like the higher time frame. So it's like boom, come down. It's like look, it's like, oh yeah, come up, bang, come down, high or low, bang, higher high. We're going to come down. Mike thinks it as well. Sui, please. Isn't this your lucky day? Because I'm already doing Sui. It's already on the screen. Lucky day for you. Well, this is my TA. I'm going to end it. I know 10 minutes over. We're going to, if we do a higher high, which I actually would prefer, because then we'd have a high high, we'd sweep these highs, and then we're going to come down. I think we could come down towards $1.30, somewhere down here. Okay, you know, bang, 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 high, high, bang, down to $1.20. I mean, I don't want to say we go to 65 cents. That's absolutely appalling. Because like, you know, we've had good movement. You can see this is the low, this is the high, this is the low. Hopefully, this is where the high is going to be, and then we're going to have a low, and then we're going to have a high. So I'm thinking if that low, it's probably going to be $1. You know, I'd say $1 at the bottom of this range, and then come up again, go to $2.41. So I'm expecting this eventually. If we do have this high, if we don't have this high, then we'll have a lower high then, which then can mean we have a lower low. So even in either scenario. Also, by the way, I've got this new camera. I don't know if I've said this stream, which actually follows me. Hello? What's going on? Oh, did I do this? What? What? Oh, there we go. There you go. Look at that. That's in there. Anyway, so even if we don't do this high, we'll do a lower low. So it doesn't matter at the end of the day. If we do a higher high, we're going to go down. If we do a lower high, we're going to go down. If we do an equal high and then sweep it, we'll go down. I think get ready to come down for Sui. That's my opinion. Do not take my advice on that. I think we might invert this fair value gap at $1, at $2. I think we're going to come down to about $1. If we do a high, this is why I'm saying I want to do a higher high, because then we can come down to $1 for a higher low, and then do a higher high again to $2.50 and whatnot. If we do a lower low, a lower high, we'll probably come down again. So, yeah, good luck. That's what I think. I'm getting the stream now. Do the outro. So, if you're new here and you enjoyed the stream, or if you just joined here 5 minutes ago, then obviously go watch the previous stream or something. Go watch the stream back, actually. It's probably a good idea. If you're new and you watch the stream and you thought, this is really good, this guy's amazing. Jesus. This guy's absolutely awesome at TA. This guy's awesome at everything. He's so cool. He looks amazing. His camera's awesome. His microphone's awesome. This is awesome. Subscribe. You know? If you're on Binance, that place sucks. Leave it. Not to throw shade. Sorry, not sorry. Go to Google. Crypto Warehouse. First thing should appear should be the YouTube channel. Come subscribe. Notifications on. If you want to talk to us, you go on YouTube, okay? But before you leave, okay? Open that in a new tab, okay? Put a pin in it. Open a new tab. Crypto Warehouse on Google, YouTube there, subscribe. But stay on the Binance, the Binance area, because in the description there are very useful links. So go check them out. Mainly the Twitter and the Telegram, okay? Those are the best places. And while you're down there, like the stream, follow us. Come to join the Telegram, join Twitter, or follow Twitter. And yeah, and if you obviously, shout out to all of you who are OGs. Kishan, shout out to you. KB, shout out to you. Let me just go through the chat actually. Danny, shout out to you. I think you were here as well. I'm scrolling up though. Yeah. Mike Sheen, there's the Sui. I think we're gonna come down either way. So shout out to you for joining. Thank you guys so much for watching. I think that's pretty much it. So I'll see you Wednesday, as with Mike, because obviously it is our giveaway. So if you're an OG, do join the Wednesday stream. This is one of the most important streams. It's a £90 wallet we got gifted to do a review on and to give it away. So do come join the 9th. That is very important. We all know Mary's going to win though anyway, so it doesn't really matter at the end of the day. So yeah, join if you want to watch Mary win, or just go on the Telegram because you'll see Mary win anyway. And other than that, I'll be back probably Thursday, Friday time for the next stream. I think that's pretty much it. Yeah, so thank you, all of you. I really appreciate you all joining. And like, the OGs, and because it's not just the OGs I appreciate, but it's the people who show up all the time. Because KB, you might as well be an OG now, because shout out to you, man. Take care, mate. I appreciate you for joining the stream. So thank you guys. And I'll see you on Telegram, and I'll see you Wednesday with Mike. So thank you, and goodbye.